Yeah, I'm sure just about every trans woman on the internet reviews memes at one point or another. But unlike most of the other meme videos I've been seeing recently, I want this video to be fun, not something to incite anger or violence against people. These are things to maybe laugh at, to maybe smile at, or to maybe just kind of think about. But I get enough of the doom and gloom in my daily life that I do not want them in this video or really any other meme video, so I'm making the video that I want. So this first one we have right here is pretty special to me. I'm not really sure if I've actually told this story or whatnot. I forget who I told what to, but the day the egg, I would say, finally cracked was on Father's Day of 2020. Kind of ironic, really, that was watching the Guns of Navarone with my dad. It was on one of those free-to-stream services, so there was ads throughout, and whenever the ads came on, that's when I would be checking my Reddit to kind of see what other people thought of my circumstance. I will admit, a part of me was very much like, I want some proof that I am trans, but there was definitely also a good chunk of like, what? No, that's a pretty hard life. I would have voluntarily choose that. But anyway, this meme right here was directed by a person that, unfortunately, their account got deleted, so I can never thank him in person, but this meme is what helped me become the beautiful woman that I am today. It just put it in the perspective for me because I was just under the assumption that if you were going to transition, then you had to be straight. And, well, even now I still find men rather unattractive. Some have kind of opened up to me, but more often than not I'm like, no, give me women. And the idea that I can be a hot woman as well. Hot woman as well while I'm dating women. Yeah, there was no downside. And then this next one right here. So as you can see, it's a fair bit of a checklist. Well, this was shortly after coming out as trans. It was just kind of going, well, you can read it. It's various effects of HRT, and the whole time I'm just like, I want this! This sounds awesome! It's a miracle drug! And yeah, I could agree with most of the items on this list. The whole angry masculine mannerisms things isn't necessarily going away, but that's a lot better than it used to be. Yes. This one I would say best explain my situation as this is one of the main problems I have with coming to terms with being trans, is it felt very much like this is something you knew when you came out of the womb. You slapped the nurse because they professed that you were the wrong gender. I wasn't really like that. I was alright with being a man, but as this picture said, I wasn't really happy as one. I am very happy being a woman, so I'd say that's really the main reason I transitioned. And then as I get further along, I'm just kind of like, oh, yeah, all these little things I put up with, I absolutely hate, and now that I have the ability to change them, I love it! If you've been subbed to this channel for a while, you know that I am a huge Digimon fan, so I just had to put this one here. And to just kind of show you how bit of a nerd I am with Digimon, I can actually name both of these. So the one in the egg shape is known as Digitamamon, which appears in Season 1, 2, not Season 3, not Season 4, maybe Season 5, no, just Seasons 1 and 2 now that I'm thinking about it. And then the next one is Murgamon, which exclusively appears in Season 6, Fusion. And even though one of her arms is a live steak, she's still hot. That's when I remember a good friend showing me. I wish I knew the name of the artist, but honestly, I feel like this picture depicts what it's like to be trans more than anything else. Your body, as well as society, tells you you gotta look like this, but yet you look in the mirror and it's just like that's what you want to see, but unfortunately you're just not seeing it. Takes a while to get there, but I'd say it's worth it. Yeah, this is one of those ones that puts a bit of a smile on my face, so I can very much agree. First day I started HRT, I was just. I feel like I tripped over my words there a little bit. I think you understand what I mean. First, like, week or so, my feet did not touch the ground. I was just walking on air. I was so happy and whatnot. And then, like, second or third week hit, and I was worried I was dying of a stroke. Spirolactone. It could be hard sometimes. But yeah, 300 days on HRT. I will admit, as I get further along, it gets a little less exciting and more just the status quo. But occasionally I get a few moments here and there where I'm just like, oh hey, I am at HRT. It's still working its magic. This one I feel is very much influenced off of the anime trope that if somebody is aroused, they get a bad nosebleed. Kind of a euphemism for blood rushing to other areas of the body. But I don't really like the connotation that I consider myself arousal inducing. I don't see myself as an autosexual, I should probably just say that. But I very much agree. I mean, this is just one of those things where you dress up feminine for the first time, you have a halfway decent body. It's like, you know what? This makes sense. I like it. And the more you look at it, it's just kind of like, oh, that's really me, isn't it? I'm pretty for once in my life. I think this one is just relatable to any woman, in all honesty. The idea that breast growth is just such an exciting aspect, as it's like, oh, you're a real woman now. You're an adult. You could be pretty. You could be attractive. And that's one of those things. It's like, yes, I'm finally worthy of a bra. And then the more you wear it, it's like, oh, yeah, summertime, this really gets sweaty. Most of the time, it's like, okay, am I going to be too indecent if I don't wear one? Most of the time, I wear one because, well, it gives me a little more volume, and, well, there's just. I don't know if there's any sort of statute of limitations or whatnot, but I feel like if they can see your nipples through the shirt, that's like the equivalent of being that one very hairy man at the pool that is only wearing a Speedo, and it's leaving very little to the imagination. I hope you don't mind that I'm not reading these. This is just kind of my way of reviewing them, I guess. Ah, yes, now this is a particular meme format in the trans community, so I'm not really sure if I've mentioned this, but I am a huge fan of prequel memes. So, some of the big ones that always come up is like Anakin on the Jedi Council, General Grievous making a fine addition to his collection. And, well, I guess a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. So in the trans community, a very popular trope is something that ends with something like, this is a cis male thought. This is a cis thought, or still cis though. And, well, I just kind of skip out that bottom section because I'm just like, yeah, I've seen this joke before, but it's the top section I like the most. I want to comfort somebody with their head in my breasts. Well, maybe if I was as big as her, I'd be fine with that, but, well, honestly, I'd rather be the one being comforted between a great big pair of soft, bouncy boobies. And I'm not talking about the birds, just to be sure. And then this is another one that fits into that same category, and for me, this picture, I'd say, is the goal. I want to be the girl on the left. One these days I'd love to figure out what I would look like with black hair. I mean, it's kind of dark enough already, but something to change it up. Maybe one day I'll have the bravery to be able to go for like the light pink poison hair, but for now I want to keep it tame. Alright, now this is a rather special one, as a friend, a really good friend, sent this one to me actually. I still don't know if he drew this one for me or not, but I feel like this very much explains my relationship I have with him, is the idea that I came out as a woman to him and he's just like, well, you can be the girl of your dreams or whatnot, but you're still going to be my friend. And yeah, it was just about as teary as the bottom comic was when he first sent this over to me. I'm just like, it's so sweet, thank you. It's one of the things I love about transitioning is you can actually feel things. Now this is a panel from a very great manga called Magical Trans. And this is very much a sentiment I agree with. I very much hate it whenever people are just like, oh, you're so brave for being yourself. Why don't you just tell that to somebody wearing a hijab? You're so brave for being a devout Muslim. I don't think being yourself should be rewarded, and I'm very much in the same case as this character. I want to be seen as cute. Stop seeing me as brave. Just substitute the word brave for cute if you want to use an adjective for me. Yeah. I'm very much convinced that SpongeBob is going to be the show of a generation. It's going to be like what my dad's generation was for Johnny Quest. Another 30 or 40 years from now, just basically get like some kid basically talking about SpongeBob and we'd just be like, oh, that show is fantastic. And, well, I'm very well aware of the first 3 seasons, and let me see, I believe this was from season 3, this was Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy Part 3, if I remember correctly. First one introduced the characters, the second one introduced the Dirty Bubble, the third one I believe is this one, the fourth one I believe is the Justice League of Super Acquaintances, and I think they went up to like 7, but it got really crazy after that. But either way, this one I'm just like, yes, this speaks to me not only as a trans person, but a trans person that grew up in the early 2000s, and it's like anybody from that time period, SpongeBob is the language that we speak. You know, this one is honestly kind of hilarious as, well, I just remember not too long ago, I went to this one flea market with the same good friend that sent me the comic from earlier. And I just remember we were kind of talking about, like, how it's different for, like, men and women. And I just kind of lean over to him and I'm just like, you know, that doesn't really work for us, only for women. Wait. And that's very much the expression I had. I thought exactly of this meme when I said that because, well, I guess it's like the equivalent of when you get into the new year and you're still writing the old year for like the first month and a half. Still gotta get used to this new title, shall we say. But I guess even more so than that is, well, having lived as both the genders, I feel like I can relate a bit more to the male gender in some capacity, but either way, I want to call out this injustice between the two. I mean, well, I should probably leave it at that. I get the feeling I was really pushing the limit with hot takes, and I do not want to push that limit further. Alright, now this is definitely one I relate to, but there's just one little panel in the middle that I just don't really agree with. The one that says the person staring back at me I barely recognized was once me. Honestly, for me it was the other way around. I would see myself in the mirror and I'm just like, okay, people tell me that is me, but that's not what I visualize myself to be. I think the only way I could explain it is imagine you are reading a favorite book and then there's a movie adaptation of it. So you got a picture in your head of what a main character is going to look like, and then you see him in the movie, and it's like, okay, yeah, I can believe that this is the character. They vaguely look like the character, but they're not the character that's in my head. That's like the only way I can explain it. Like, I know for sure it was me in the mirror before, but I wasn't happy about what I saw. So the idea that I barely recognize how I used to look, I consider that a perk myself because I did not like that guy. I didn't hate him personality wise, I just didn't like the way he looked. And especially the way he felt. Alright, now this one I just wanted to get a bit of a disclaimer out. So, this is actually an edit of another meme. I wanted to edit it to make a little more sense to me personally. This is my edit of it. So, maybe I'll just kind of read through it. So, how I thought my transition would go, that I would just instantly become a hot babe. How I feel like it's going very gradually, like there's a little bit of chest growth, and I'm just like, come on. And then there are people I'll just kind of bump into, like, maybe like once a year or whatnot, and they'll just be like, whoa. So it's kind of hopeful. And then this is the original, so how people thought my transition would go, you instantly become the hot babe, and how it's actually going. Honestly, to me, that seems depressing. I feel like that was really the big obstacle of transitioning in the first place, is this idea of, like, you have the cure. You know exactly what needs to be done. It's just... The example I always bring up, it's like, imagine you are shipwrecked in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Now you can just kind of keep treading water forever because there's just, like, really no hope, no really nothing. Just keep alive and whatnot. And then you see land off in the distance. That short swim that you have to take from where you are to that island feels like the equivalent of 2 months of being alone in that ocean. It's when you get that end goal in sight, you just can't reach it fast enough. The main reason I put this one here is this is more of a philosophical one, so you got like these two choices. Are you a man who wishes he was a woman, but you dismiss it because you don't consider yourself feminine enough? Honestly, I would say, I mean, the first part I would say is right. The idea of, like, I saw myself as a man, but I just wanted to be a woman, but didn't really care so much about the femininity aspect. It was, for me, transitioning was always about the body. In fact, even for like the first like 6 months or so, I'm just like, you can call me by the old name, you can call me by the old pronouns. I don't care, just as long as I have the body of a woman. That's all I need. And as I got further along, I'm just kind of like, oh, you know, I actually like people seeing me as a woman. And then there's the second option. Or are you a woman born with a man's body, and that body is why you never felt you could fully call yourself a woman? Could say no to that either. I mean, I've heard a lot of trans people say it's all about discovering yourself. Oh, you've been a woman this whole time, but you only just recently discovered it. I never really got into that theory, really. I mean, I was young, I didn't mind being a boy. In fact, I was very much looking forward to male puberty. But I guess the best way I could explain it is, it's almost like you're going to this much anticipated amusement park. You got like a bunch of relatives, you got older siblings, you got a lot of people that are just raving about it, and, well, you have to wait until you're a certain age before you can get there. And then you get there and you realize that nothing has been updated in the past 30 years, and it sucks. And so, yeah, that's the best way I can describe puberty. Is I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm ready for the ride. Oh, this sucks. Yeah, I always like putting this one in here. So, like I said, main reason I wanted the transition is because I'm just happier as a woman. I like what I see in the mirror. I, well, I mean, I guess that's really about it. I remember that was very much a big thing before I had bottom surgery. Every time I get out of the shower, I'd just be like, well, this mostly looks good, but there's this big thing in the way, and I can't stand it. And now that I have the, shall we say, proper equipment, I'm like, you know what? I look good, and I feel fantastic. Well, I mean, aside from soreness, I mean, obviously it's going to take a while to heal for something like this, but yeah, I feel great. I didn't feel this way before. I mean, I would just kind of put up with all this stuff because this is what I was told a man had to be, and I didn't know there was an option to transition. And when I realized there was such an option, I'm just like, well screw this. I get no joy out of this, but just thinking about that is just giving me joy. Let's try it out. Okay, I'm never going back. That's about all I have. I just figure one last fun one to throw in there. Just a few little verses from, well, my favorite book. There's a few passages I was kind of reading through recently, and I'm like, you know what? I feel like this could very much fit into some trans memes. If you've been subbed to this channel, you know what my favorite book is. If you don't know what it is, well, feel free to leave a guess down below and I'll tell you what it is. Maybe. It's a controversial book, it seems. I just run into either two camps whenever I bring it up. Either people tell me that the author is the embodiment of Satan and anybody that follows her needs to be purged in some sort of holy flame. Or the other extreme is never heard of her. Very rarely have I ever run into too many people that are just like, oh, I know that book. That's pretty good. I like it. Maybe I should form some sort of appreciation club. Well, actually, wait. I think she left a institution for such things. You know, perhaps I might actually be able to find a proper support group that way. So, that's really all I got for Pride Month. Bit on the lighter side is, well, there's a lot of maintenance involved after surgery, and I just don't really have the time or really much of the energy, as just having a hard time getting to bed at a decent time these days. But I hope I was able to keep these videos entertaining. Until next time, be yourself, no matter who that is.